And welcome to an episode of the TR7 1980, otherwise known as Tibby. Down in Cornwall at the moment. Just give you a little bit of a tour, and then I'll talk about what I'm going to do with 7. I've had some running issues. It runs, but I'm not happy. It's got a bit of retardation at higher revs, almost as if she's been starved of fuel. But anyway, this is the storage unit down in down in Cornwall, and we've got a 1974 E-type Jag. This thing is a V12, obviously, and it's owned by a young chap, and it's really quite nice. The power steering on it is absolutely amazing, and just moving it around, and it's so easy. I mean, back in the day, it must have been so luxurious to have a car like this. When you think about all the rage with the Moggy Thows, the Riley Elves, and to see this and drive, it must have been something else. So we've got obviously a few long-term customers and that are storing their cars here. We're quite competitive, and the place is paying for itself. Just give you a look around. And this X19 here has just been put in storage. This was bought from Switzerland by a chap we know who buys and sells cars, been doing it all his life, and they've got the steps in the way there. Now this car itself was originally a 1300, and whoever owned it before has tried to make it look like a 1500, and the registration or the year of manufacture, this was 1972, and this is chassis 003, so it's quite special, and the chap's going to restore it back to the original 1300 spec, and I do believe it was red originally. So the car's it's got a Swiss plate on it, I'm sure. Let's have a look here. And again, it's got the 1500 rear bumper on it and the 1500 rear engine cover. I believe on the 1300s they were flat and black as well. So, yeah, there we go. There's the Swiss plate on it. It says, I don't think that badge is original either, because was the 1300 5-speed? I'm not sure. I'd have to look that up actually. So obviously it's a left-hand drive, and when you look inside it, you can see in there, it's all a bit gloomy, isn't it? Let's get the auto changes the exposure. It really looks like old future technology in terms of motoring. I mean, back in 1972, this would have been absolutely, futuristic, and the way it all set out, and it's, even the seats look fairly modern when you think about it. So back in 1972, absolutely wonderful. Electric windows as well. And I just love the center console with those sliding rails on it, Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And a Targa roof as well, which you could take off and put in the front. Yeah, fantastic. And of course, this is British's answer, the TR7. Now, what have I got with this then? Well, I've done I've changed the jets to performance jets. Performance needles. I've replaced the jets. I've baselined the carbs so I'm absolutely sick to the back teeth. And she will run quite nicely. And then when you try and push it past 4,000 RPM, it's almost as if she's stuttering. And then when you ease off and come to a junction, she'll stall. And then you give it a few revs and it starts and it ticks over at 1,000 RPM, and then away you go again. So I'm thinking, it could be down to fuel starvation. It's definitely not timing, because it's not happening across the whole range. And, I checked the top dead center quite a while ago, and it was bang on. And in terms of the position of the markings and the distributor cap pointing to cylinder 1, or yeah, and I can get it to tick over quite nicely. And when the choke gets pulled, geez, well, you know, I can get it to run at 2,000 RPM when it's cold. I'm not going to start it now because I'm going to change the fuel pump, and there's a diaphragm pump, and it's under here, and I have this aftermarket spare, and it's, you know, it is what it is. Now, one thing I did mention before in one of my videos was that if I get the manual out, I've got a manual in here. Now, one of the things I did notice before with this car, well, the good old Haynes manual, you know, if I can just see if I'm lucky to get it open to the right place. I should have done this beforehand, I think. But on this TR7, there is actually a... here we are. This shows the diaphragm pump here. And let's see if we get... It's on the page before, isn't it? Fuel and carburation. Maybe the page over. Let's see. Because I did say that on this car it has a standoff and then a gasket, whereas on the earlier models it doesn't show. Oh, anyway, it doesn't show the standoff against the block. There's a metal gasket and then a cork gasket. So when I take that diaphragm pump out again, I will check the length of the lever that gets, there's a lobe on the lay shaft which runs through the block, runs off the timing chain, which obviously turns the water pump, and it obviously turns the distributor, and then the other lay shaft, actually, I'm not sure it's the same lay shaft, it might be a bit different one, I'd have to look at the diagram again, which knocks the diaphragm pump. And should I stick an electronic fuel pump in it? Why? Why would I want to put an electronic fuel pump in it when, you know, the mechanical one is good enough for what I do with this car? And she'll cruise lovely at 70. Absolutely not a problem. But I just want to get the thing running right. Like, you know, with any car, it's not that I need the performance. It's just that if that's what's happening at the moment, then if that diaphragm is aged, or I have heard of the center springs breaking on the diaphragm, so the return. So if that's the case, when the demand of fuel is higher, it probably isn't performing as well. So I'm going to bite the bullet and just think, well, it's 45 years old, that pump, and it's been sat on the side of a block for that time, and who knows, maybe the diaphragm is just wearing that bit, and so I'm going to change it. So the next thing I'll do is I'll get the pump out, and we'll take a look at it. Okay, so here is the old fuel pump, diaphragm pump, and here's the new one. And I've checked out the profiles of the levers, and they're, you know, pretty much the same. The spring return mechanism slightly different. If you look at the two there, this one's coming out a bit further. But what I have noticed, obviously I've emptied the fuel out of this one, and I've isolated the fuel lines in the car. Now when I activate this one, I'm not sure if you'll be able to hear this, but listen, when I activate this pump, if I can, it's actually as if you get like a little tiny whistle. Let me see if I can do that with this sat down, and see if you can hear this. It's probably better two-handed. So that's what the old one sounds like. I haven't stripped it down yet. This is the new one. And it seems like the output suction's okay. And the suction seems pretty good on that one. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that pump. But if I don't put the new one in, I'll never know. So this is the space I was on about. Now, obviously, when I checked the manual, I must have looked at in the past, the actual workshop manual for the TR7, and I don't have it with me as typically as it's probably back in the garage. But this spacer, you can see where it's gone against the block. There's the witness marks of it going against the block. So if I maintain that surface and then use this came with two gaskets. They're both the same for whatever reason. So if I put this facing gasket onto this plate here itself, onto the back of here, and then this will go into the engine that way. It does fit, and then obviously connect up the fuel lines, and I'll check it out just to see what happens. Yeah, so I'm going to take it from there. I'll get it all back in the car, start it up, and see what we get. But I think this is okay. From the sound of it, it seems to be sucking and pushing as you'd expect. Clever little thing, isn't it? Don't really want to strip it down just yet. I've got to make sure this one's working first. And just out of curiosity, just to check the diaphragm and see what it does actually look like. This one is pretty good because it has all the hex bolts in there. Or are they some sort of torques? Yeah, so you could easily change the diaphragm on this one. And it's Quinton Hazel OEM replacement parts. So I don't think it's going to be a million miles away. So take it from there and I'll get back to you. Okay, back to it. I hope you can hear me. She started fine. I've got everything back in there now. Let's see if I get the torch down here. Try and get you down there. I'll wait for the block to heat up and then I'll just check the torque on the two bolts holding the fuel back on. So she's warming up. I've got her on about 1500 RPM, just take it down a tad. So she is coming up to temperature. The all lights out. Voltage is good. Let's take that down a bit. Take her right off now. And she's settling down. A bit lumpy still, I think. Maybe it's I think the thermostat is probably open now. So that's all nice and tight there. It's ticking over quite nicely. I'm happy with that. She's probably higher than I'd like. It's at about 1000 RPM. I can check the balance on the carbs again with the kits. I don't think she's a million miles away. Although I guess I'll have to take it out for a run. Now, on this pump here, even though the sound quite good. I did hear, it'd be hard to capture it on the camera, but as I was activating the hill, I could feel or hear some air pressure around this area here. To make sure I'm on the camera there, and it's almost as if you must have an orifice to come through here for this to attach to the mechanism inside for the diaphragm. So whether that's leaking, and if I smell my petrol, it doesn't smell too fuely, although it is, I suppose, in a way. So I'm wondering if some of the fuel's been coming out of here into the oil, but I would have, you know, until I strip this down, I won't really know. But I'll clean it all up and do it on the bench at home. So the next thing to do really is to take this out for a run to see how we go. So just going to let it warm up completely and see how it goes with this new fuel pump. Yeah, I'm just going to have to take her out on the road and see how she goes post 4,000 RPM under load. So hopefully I shall come back with some good news. Okay, so here I am in the 7 now, and she's ticking over nicely now at about 750 RPM, and I'm just going to take her up for another blast. She's picking up lovely, and I think that new fuel pump was the bane of my life, really. And so yeah, we'll see what happens on this run. The car's nice and warm. Has been raining this morning, so and you might see there that the Jag is being detailed by my business partner. We're down in Cornwall at the moment, so I have now, I suppose, with me trying to get the Triumph to run at a higher RPM, there's a slight blow in the black box now. So hey ho, one thing stronger, another weaker, right? Just sounds like a typical 7. So we'll just see how she just goes on the B roads. Watch out for the traffic. That should be good. Oh, that needle's going up like billy-o. Absolutely splendid now. So I'll just go into fifth and see how she pulls under load. I'm not sure if you can see me actually. I think I should be alright. I hope you can hear me too. This really is a comfortable car, a lovely driving position, and ever since you know, when I first got one of these back in my early 20s, I thought, you know, with all the shortcomings, that with all the reputation for the TR7s with the electrical problems and the rust and everything, you know, all cars rusted back then, and I just love the driving position. We've got the gear stick and the handbrake behind the gear stick,
and you're fully outstretched and you've got all that bulkhead in front of you, you're not right up against the windscreen. And for me it was just natural. And I did meet a chap a few years ago who rebuilt a TR7, lime green one. So really, the Trident green TR7, the colour, the metallic. And he said that he took his car to Europe and actually took it across the Stelvio Pass. And he said, you know, it didn't miss a beat in that car. And yeah, I'd be quite willing to take this on an extended run. I mean, I did the Bicester run twice last year, and yeah, a few little niggles here and there, but taking it easy. I mean, what do you expect with a 45-year-old car? And I was watching a chap today earlier on with his TR8. It's a 1980 TR8. And he was doing an oil change on it to get out for a drive. Same colour as this, he called it platinum silver. And he actually made sense by saying what a comfortable car it was, and the driving, and you know, it's not the fastest. But he did state, he said at the time, it was the TR8 this is, it was the 5th fastest production car the market in 1980. I mean, what would be the 5th fastest car on the market today? It's got to be maybe a Lamborghini Revuelto, or an Aston Martin, or a Ferrari, Koenigsegg, even some of those. I mean, you know, in terms of being down the list now, sort of a modern 2-seater convertible. I mean, you know, back in the day that was no mean feat. I mean, it wasn't really that powerful, the Rover V8, you know, on a good day about 140 to 145 brake horsepower, you know, and he had the injection model too, so yeah, that's probably about 150 brake. Certainly a car for its era, and yeah. So we're just tootling along here, and quite nicely, doing about 1500 RPM in third, and I'll just go into second, slow the car down, and then see how she pulls under load. She's not chugging, just tiny bit of gas. Watch out for the guy on the left, and yeah. Nice whiny gearbox as usual. I'm going to turn left here. Go around nice in a second. There we are. Gently does it. Coming through this tiny little section. Days. See what the tick over is now. She's just under 1,000 RPM. And a van pulls out on me. Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you very much. Oh, he is a courier, is he? Yeah. Oh well. Support our enjoyment here. But he's a working man, so I'll give him the time and space. good, he's turning left now, so we come past it into a 40. Now we should be hitting a 60. And you might care to look at the nice picturesque view of Cornwall. Right, now we're into 60. Picking up absolutely sweet as a nut. Into 5th. I'm cruising along nicely at 60. I know it sounds a bit more. We'll see how it does on this bend. It's slow, come around. It's only a warning. This handling is absolutely lovely. Rolls a bit, but you know, I do have the polyurethane bushes in the trailing arms. I think that's helping it a bit. Absolutely beautiful today. Yes, that petrol diaphragm pump has made quite a bit of a difference. Unbelievable. So what I'll do is when I turn around and come back, I'll face the camera forward. Well, I might put it here so you can see the dash or whatever, but it certainly doesn't need any more, really. Just needs to speed off a little bit. Into a 30, are we? Yes. Into a 30. It's 40 first. Got a slight little whistle there. To a 30. Even out way out here, there's a 30-mile-an-hour speed limit, and they've got an average speed as well. Well, I can understand that being in a populated village. So I'll turn you around. Enough of my ugly face. Turn you around. Right, let's get you back to recording. It. Yes. Excuse me a minute, just put you back down. There we are. Just going back through St. Anne's Chapel. The temperature's holding really, really well. speed, CJ. Down again. Well, it's average speed, so I'm probably doing the good thing about this car as well, usually at 30 miles an hour, it is quite stable. The needle doesn't bounce about so much. So, you know, the quality of the speedo is quite good. Usually some of these old cars, the speedo bounces about a bit, but this one is pretty good. So when I'm doing 30 or 40, which is pretty much bang on, to be honest. I mean, they say 10-12%, but you know. I just hope this Beamer in front just picks up a bit of momentum, because we don't want to be doing this speed all the way, do we? Doing 30 and a 40, come on. Pick up, come on. Go. Come on. Oh, it's turning this way. That's okay. Even better. Right. Let's give it some beans. Nicely picked up there. Still over a ton over 65. Ease it back to 60. Make sure. Road's in not bad condition for it being quite rural. Track control ahead, ease off. Don't know where it is. I didn't see it on the way. Oh, there it is. Sorry if I'm rambling. The amount of steering you've got to put into this car is amazing. Sorry if I'm just speaking out loud. Well, barring the exhaust blowing, I think we are there. Happy days. Thank you. Now the lights popped up there when I was doing my indicator. I think when I'd actually checked out the stalk and I did the horn. Yeah, I did check the horn. The two of the copper connections to raise the headlights when you pull back on the indicator stalk came a bit close together, so it's like a feather touch before the headlights come up. So sometimes I inadvertently actually flash people without realizing it. But you only have to momentarily touch the people that know the sevens, pull back on the indicator stalk, and the lights will come up, and you have to keep it held back for the lights to come on or flash. So I just need to open up those contacts at some point, you know, just to stop me inadvertently raising the headlights. Stop here, it says keep clear there, because this is sometimes the buses turn on these corners and they need the room. Yeah. Absolutely happy with this, no? Today, I love my Triumph, I really do. I've had it for years and years now. Ooh, that was a bit close, lad. Right, so I'm just going to keep my foot. I'm not going to put any more into the accelerator. I'm going to let the car take the load in 30 miles an hour. There we are, and she didn't cough, splutter or anything, so that's pretty cool. So some young people come up to me and say, oh, they used to say, my dad had one of those, my neighbour had one of those, and now what they tend to say is, my granddad had one of those. My old neighbour had one of those. Sold it just before he passed away. Charming. But I think any interest in these cars, the longer the time goes on, there's going to be less interest, because people that are aging now are looking at a completely different group of cars. They're not looking at cars from the 80s, they're looking at cars from the early 90s. And you just have to look at the old XKs, you know, the Jag XK 120s. I mean, they're not fetching nearly the price they were 20 years ago. And I think it's because that whole dynamic group of people, you know, inevitably have passed away. So there's no interest. If there's no market for the car, then unless it's a really special one, then they're going to drop off. And will that happen to the E-Type? Who knows? They're still fetching, you know, the Series 1s are still fetching serious money. And the E-Type, being what it is, I think will always have. Well, I say that it's very popular. So we've got the Mark III in storage, the Series 3 in storage. That's a beautiful thing to drive, really. But it's the 60s ones that fetch the money. Right, here we go. Back to the national speed limit. And there we are. Stops really nicely with the braking and the gears. Let's see, she's just ticking over quite nicely. I'm going to put it back into the storage unit, and Jack's probably finished detailing the car now. Jag. There she is. Very clean indeed. So I think jobs are good in there.